right.
farther to the north.
Now I got it fixed.
Excuse me, we're going to say our words backwards a little bit.
I don't know what the problem was before, but it's looking better now. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Now to wait for some people to come back in.
Especially in Cape Coral. Cape Coral, that eye wall will come extremely close. You might. The thing is that the eye wall is so large. It's so large, so you're going to get some of those stronger winds.
Yeah.
As this gets closer,
Got it.
winds will continue to pick up. So this is just the start.
Thanks,
of
Caucasian.
many hours of this continuing
Much
to be on the stronger
appreciated.
side.
Just
Much appreciated.
I'll take it over here with Dupplers with Promo Wall, and then I'll toss back over to my.
Now everything's looking normal.
But as Peter just asked about viewers in Lee County, when the worst of it is likely to arrive.
When I get a few more people in here, I got 6, 7.
Here's a look into the
I gotta take a walk outside with you guys, right, before it gets too bad. Should be making landfall pretty soon. A couple more hours. Supposed to make landfall here in Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Okay, welcome back, Caucasian Sasquatch, Robert Wolf, Tags, thanks for joining us. Robert Wolf, thanks for coming back, guys. Get a few more people in here, we'll take a walk outside, give you guys a feel of what's going on outside. Because what you're looking at isn't what you can feel. Probably give you a better idea.
So I tell you what, I'm going to send things back over here, so put this back over to the regular reflectivity. For areas of the barrier islands, that the worst is, pretty much here as it continues to lift in this northeast direction.
Yeah, the eye right now is over Sanibel, North Captiva. It's right near that, so only a couple miles away from us.
Chief Meteorologist John Patrick. John, what are you seeing from your perspective? Well, I wanted to go ahead and track that rain.
We got 7 people in here. Let's take a little walk outside for a minute.
Right over the barrier islands as
Before it gets too rough.
As we track it with our live radar. And you can also notice that there are thunderstorms. There's a lot of lightning around that eye wall, which is a sign of a very strong eye wall. Of course, the center of the storm right there, tracking to the northeast at about 9 miles per hour. So why don't I go ahead and show you?
Alright, I don't know what you can hear, guys. I don't know if you hear that wind or anything. Here's a neighbor's house. They're all boarded up and stuff. A couple neighbors across the street. I'll be going out the front door. They must have left in the morning. Like I said, it did a change all of a sudden after it hit Cuba. It kind of hooked, and that's why it headed doing the same path like Charlie took. So, but definitely don't want to be out on the roads or anything like that unless you want to take a ride. We're getting water. Water's starting to build up. Not raining too hard right now. More just the wind.
Time, you're going to look for that to work its way up to Paseo, North Fort Myers, as we do 1218, Greens Edge Condominiums, 1224 into Englewood. Our times just bumped up here as the clock progresses. You'll see these move up on the screen here. Englewood at 1230. And Englewood, Venice,
we got 11 people
here.
in here. Okay.
There's Englewood, there's Venice, and Northport's right there.
Hello, Liz Solomon. Heather, glad to have you back here. It's looking better now, huh? Thanks.
So that's going to happen for you right around 12:30 as we get toward Pine Lakes in the 12:30 to 12:34. And out toward Gateway, you're going to have this area right here.
Now we'll take a look at the front yard here. Flooding and all that. little higher than like a normal storm. Whenever we have a normal storm here, this is usually about the flooding. Well, it's a little more than usual. Usually don't come this high. Probably about 4 more feet up this way. But is that affecting the sound on this, guys? I don't know. But if you can hear me. Yeah, in my area, I'm in Coliseum. Wow, that wind just blew that phone around, so I'm gonna head back in a little bit here, guys. It is a little windy out there. That can't hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Is that better? Can you hear me now, guys?
We know that this is the beginning of this storm having its impact in Cape Coral. We also have an official report down in Naples of a 4.8 foot storm surge, which is the highest ever recorded.
Yeah, a little windy, yeah.
With those
A little
southerly
windy.
winds. What I want to do for you is go backtrack this light radar several hours and show you where the center is going. I did see a big jump earlier in this morning, and now we're kind of getting this real slow wobble to the time, 1 hour from this time to this time.
Right.
The distance is getting a little bit smaller. That's concerning. I don't want this to stay offshore any longer than it has, than it's going to. The problem is that as we get closer and closer to land, we don't have any steering currents for this to push it into our land. So it's going to just stay there. It's just forward momentum continues to push on in.
Alright, are we still here,
until
guys?
The land interaction continues to stop.
The power went out for 1 second, so I think my internet went out for a second. I'm not sure if I'm still here with you or not.
That's where we saw the center of the storm. The hour before that, it was farther to the south and to the west. We saw a big jump, and it stayed at, maybe about 10 miles per hour. But the last hour, it slowed down and wobbled just a little bit back off to the north and west. That's not a trend we want to see. It may not stay.
Yeah.
It may not stay.
I did have
It
a
may continue to
generator
move off to the
right
north
here.
and east, but the problem is
I
that
took it out
steering current
yesterday.
to lift off to the north is kind of losing its pull on it. So we're
It's
going to
foolish
have to
me, I
continue for a little bit.
haven't
You do
started
notice
it
here
in a
on First
couple
Alert Live
years,
We're
so
starting to see these green boxes go up. Flash
it went
flooding
bad.
is going to be a pretty issue
Broke the
for us
cord
later
trying to
on
get it
today.
started.
So we do not need to be out on boats
let me see.
at all, especially with the amount of water
Are
that
we
we've
still
already
connected
seen.
here, guys?
Potholes are going to be filled with water. Your car is going to get damaged if you're out there anyway, and it's just simply dangerous to be on the waters right now. We are out on the roads. We don't have our crews out there. We are not out there just holding down, trying to get that video up for someone else. I know we
Alright,
are safe. We
okay.
are inside. We are watching the storm push on in. And
Yeah, I lost my chat for a
slowly,
minute. I
slowly
had to
gonna trek
refresh
off
it,
to
I
the
guess.
north and east. So when does the landfall
Stay
actually
safe.
occur? What we
Captain
actually
Happy,
need,
thank you.
that part of the eyewall, that front edge to actually
Liz
come on land.
Solomon,
Yeah,
Captain
well, we might
Happy,
not be there
Melissa
for another
Stedman.
couple of hours before it really officially makes that landfall.
The storm's only moving at 10 miles an hour.
Back one,
You think about how
here,
fast it is when
yes,
you're driving through
yeah.
like your community or neighborhood.
Sorry, guys, my
It's
chat
very
wasn't
fast.
going for a minute, so yes, you're
Slow moving
here,
event
you're
for us over the
here.
next
Thanks,
several
guys.
hours. If I could
Very
on
much
fly here, I
appreciated.
request that the crew
Liz,
take our Doppler
where
2
are
source. I
you're
just
asking
wanted
where are
to
you? Are you
downtown
asking
Fort
me that,
Lauderdale.
Liz?
While we still have a
Liz
let's
Solomon?
take advantage of these web cameras. As Allison mentioned, it's too dangerous for people to be outside right now. The weather cameras, they don't mind taking a hit here once in a while when the weather goes downhill. This again is a live look from the beautiful downtown River District in Fort Myers. It's tough to see it taking it like this, but at least right now.
They're gonna do it. They got a live camera.
All the trees are doing just fine right now. Looks like there's definitely some palm fronds getting tossed around there in the River District, but right now I'm not seeing significant tree or limb damage, at least from this camera perspective. And
That's Downtown Fort Myers.
Take a look at how the harbor looks. It looks like the boats are fine. Remember, we are in the early stages of this event.
You're in Naples, Liz? I'm in,
We are done. And for areas in Lee County, as Allison
I'm in, Port Charlotte.
will continue to get stronger until we get our landfall in this one.
How are you doing down there in Naples, Liz? Is it,
What I'm gonna do now,
you guys are getting that storm surge now, aren't you?
here, I'm going to ask
You're getting that backlash storm surge, I think.
over at the Kroger wall. And are we set here at the wall?
Hey, Rob, I do want to say real fast, the National Hurricane Center is saying that
Right,
this
is in
making landfall
Sarasota?
currently in Sanibel and Captiva.
Ah, okay, that's very important because to get to that point, then we would really focus. Here as this moves towards Southwest Florida. While I have you though, I do want to mention that we're here in Vanderbilt Beach in the Connors area, which is down. Connors is a small street.
Hope she's hunkered down, Heather.
41. If we could make this a little bigger so I could see what I'm doing here at the wall, I'd appreciate it. So we're getting reports in this neighborhood here of the water coming up and
All of Florida's getting hit with it. It doesn't matter that, I mean,
these canals, and now it's
so
going up
big
over the
that
seawalls here to the west of Vanderbilt.
it's
Drive.
hitting all of
This is
Florida.
something- Because in this part of Nichols,
Even over there in Miami, they lost power, but they had tornadoes and stuff over on that side because of the storm. So
right now are moving up in this direction as they're headed.
Florida is a bad place to be right now, and ain't got nothing to do with the cops.
Parts of coastal Collier County as the winds move in this direction. But as you move up here toward the north and northwest, as Allison said, we're now seeing evidence of a landfall here on the Lee County barrier islands.
Also
It is
pray
just
for your
here
Aunt
at the top of
Heather.
the
I
Trumbull
pray for
Colorado.
everybody
It looks
here.
like this is the main event now for the Lee County Islands.
And everybody
As
in the world,
potential winds and
actually, now.
Catastrophic winds.
Give peace a chance.
I believe we have a live look at Sanibel Island, so let's take it there live if we could for a moment. That is looking live at Periwinkle Way, of course, on Sanibel Island, now experiencing the landfall of this Category 4 hurricane, a very high-end Category 4 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds right now at 155 miles. Let me send things over back here in the studio over to the Chief Meteorologist Allison Ray. She's at Weather Touch with Doppler 1 as our source.
Right, so they are officially making that call saying that we are making landfall. If we could go to Doppler 1 at the touch. I know we have video up, but I want to show you why they're calling that the landfall now. That landfall is occurring for Sanibel.
When I
and
first
Captiva
bought this
because we
house,
have
guys,
this elevator
about,
right here, pushing through parts of
August of
Captiva
2002, I
and
bought it.
also parts of
2 years
Pine
later,
Island at this time. It is
August
soon going to be headed to
2004,
Boca Grande. So
Charlie
even
comes
though
through.
the center of the storm,
I had
the actual
2 more
center
big
of
giant
the
oak
picture
trees.
is still offshore because that outer bank,
Big
or
giant
the
oak
main
trees
band
in,
of that eye wall is just
in my backyard
making
here.
landfall
I
right
took
now.
down
We are
after
calling that
Charlie.
the eye
They
wall
were-
is,
they were big.
and is making landfall
mean,
right now for Sanibel and Captiva.
you
Where
couldn't
does it
even
go
put
from
your
there?
arms around them.
It
That's
goes
how
into
big
Charlotte
around they
Harbor.
were.
It goes into Cape Coral.
But,
It
took
goes
them down.
into Placida. Now, Cape Coral, you're not going to see these real strong winds that they're seeing farther to the north. You're still seeing very powerful winds. You're still seeing 80, 90 mile per hour wind gusts possible. But what you are going to see are these southerly winds just pushing more water into this region. And that's what we're going to have to monitor.
Yeah, Heather, it
over
seems like what's
the
going to
next
happen
few
after it hits the
hours.
landfall through
Hopefully,
here,
anyone
it's going to
in
move
Cape Coral
faster
is
over
in
the
this
land.
area, far
It seems
southwestern
like,
Cape, south of
I don't know, maybe
Veterans
not.
Parkway is well inland
But yeah.
and off to the north and east as this water continues to build up, especially down through parts of Sanibel, Captiva, Robinson.
Control will be on camera forward now. Just 2 minutes ago, the National Hurricane Center released this statement here saying that they've had reports of sustained winds of 71 miles per hour on San Juan with a wind gust of 98 miles per hour. And at Redfish Pass, a sustained wind of 67 miles per hour with a wind gust of 84 miles per hour. And yet this aligns with the landfall that we're noticing now across this island and the western side of Lee County. If I could, why don't I send a colleague at ABC7, Chief Meteorologist John Patrick. John, talk us through here as this hurricane makes landfall in Lee County. What are you seeing?
I wanted to go a little bit farther south. You showed the camera out towards Sanibel on Periwinkle Way right now. This from Naples Grand Beach Resort, of course, well removed from where that eye wall is coming on shore over Sanibel and Captiva right now. But you can see that the storm surge, look right here. To all areas inundation from the Gulf of Mexico. The water has pushed onshore because of the hurricane, even though that center of the storm is a long ways away up towards Sanibel and Captiva right now. We're still seeing that storm surge, and I mean, you've got probably close to hurricane force winds in different parts of Collier County, especially. Look at that rain, it's just blowing sideways right there. So that's the view at Naples Grand Beach Resort. I also want to use live Doppler radar here and track where those winds are going in this outer ring. And you see right there, we're talking about with the landfall right there, the very inner edge. Well, Sanibel and Captiva and Cape Costa and headed up towards Charlotte County, towards the mouth of Charlotte Harbor, and also up toward the Cape Hayes Peninsula. As I widen out here, I want you to notice that there's a lot more red over on this side than there is over on this side. There are very powerful hurricane force winds over here, but when we're talking about the 155-mile-an-hour winds, that's coming from the northwest and western side of that storm. It's a little bit lopsided as far as the eye wall winds right now, but you saw what's going on out in Sanibel right now. They're having hurricane force winds out there, and that's going to continue to track off to the northeast. So what I want to do here is just do this live and in real time here on our Doppler radar. We're going to track the heaviest of the wind here right on this outer eye wall, and we're going to move it up to the northeast at about 9 miles an hour, the forward speed of the hurricane right now. And I'm also going to track this out in time, because initially that goes out just to 30 minutes by default, but we're going to go out to about 120. So we're going to go out 2 hours here. So as we get through time here, again, heaviest of the wind is in this northern eye wall. So Bokeelia, 1212. That's 7 minutes from right now. You're going to start feeling. I mean, it's
I would take you all
right
outside,
but the heaviest of the wind there.
If I do that, you're not. I guess you can't hear me because of the wind.
Englewood,
Whoops, there goes something.
So you have about an hour and a half, 91 minutes to be exact. As we track this continuing in that path off to the northeast at 9 miles an hour. Notice I kind of cheated this northwest a little bit, because as Allison showed you on our live Doppler radar, tracking it hour by hour, that this has jogged just slightly to the left or to the northwest. And that's very typical for a hurricane. When we show you a path of a hurricane or a projection of a hurricane, it takes into account all the wobbles. That path, that line that you'll see is just an average of the wobble. So it's very normal and very typical for a hurricane to wobble a little bit east and a little bit west as it tries to move on its path to the north-northeast. So that's why I've jogged this way just a little bit to allow for that little bit of a northwesterly jog. So again, Bokeelia, 1212. Englewood up here at 136 for the strongest of those hurricane force winds to be on top of you. Of course, we have a lot of the hurricane force winds on the eastern side of this as well. So we'll go ahead and track that portion of the hurricane outer bands and the outer eye wall for you. Also, we're going to continue monitoring this kind of going off towards the northeast as well. We'll jog it down just a little bit. And again, 9 miles per hour movement. And we're looking at the 30-minute default. We'll put 2 hours on there. And now we're going to get some times on here, like Fort Myers Beach at 12:21. So we're already starting to see some of that activity out towards Fort Myers Beach right now, as far as getting very gusty, very windy, and already we're seeing the storm surge come on shore. That's going to continue, probably the worst of it, at 12:21. So about 15 minutes, 14 minutes from right now. Kelly Greens at 12:39. Iona, 12:42, into Cape Coral at 1:16. Now, I know Cape Coral is very large. I want to show you where the marker is. It's in the central Cape. So southwestern Cape, I would back that up to right around 1 o'clock or 10 till 1.
Sorry,
That's
guys.
the strongest of the winds here in the southwestern Cape. Northeastern Cape, it's going to be a little bit longer than that, more towards 1:30, 1:45. Burnstorm Marina at 1:18, and that's Rick. So again, we're looking at that longest winds kind of on the eastern side of that outer eye wall to track off to the north and northeast, and headed, of course, up towards Charlotte County. This side of the eye wall already making land.
Hello, Miss Bailey Mae Bronson. How you doing? I'm holding up fine. I was watching you and Chuck for a while there. I know I don't comment much in the comments. Whenever I'm watching somebody's live, I kind of say hi or hello to anyone that says hello back.
Thank you, JP. I do want to show you a couple of
I'm not
things
much
here
of a
with the wind speeds that you just
conversationalist. I
touched
guess
on.
you kind of noticed
Actually pull up our AWS
in my
view.
lives like this
To
one.
the touch here. I want to show you an updated wind gust, highest wind gust. So when we see the estimates on radar, these are coming to fruition on the actual observing site. So that is an actual observation of 99 miles per hour. We do have the live trucks in, but let's take it
All
and
right,
see
Frank.
what the conditions
Yeah.
look like out at
Frank's got
Sandville.
some good
Periwinkle Way,
normal hurricane
Pasadena
protocols in
West.
there.
So
Get supplies together, hunker down. We're kind of doing that.
if you could take it
Didn't
through
expect
spring,
it to be
I just
hitting
wanna,
us, but
show people that often
we're still
was
kind of
building
prepared
there.
for it.
I'm not sure if it's a home, it's like a business.
My
It's
generator,
well
it couldn't
there.
get
You can see
working,
the
but I
water
bought a
level
new one.
starting
Should
to
be
rise,
here maybe a couple after the
in
storm,
that
but
parking lot there, and
it's a nice
the
new
water
one.
will continue to move on in
Power
over
start.
Periwinkle
You press the
Way.
button and it starts. It's
You
not
see
a
the
pull
winds,
cord
the
one. I hate
camera
those pull
itself is
cord
moving,
things.
and then also the signs are
You break the
moving
cord,
as well. Now let's go back
I can
to
always seem,
number one
I'll
in
get it
time.
together
The winds
to
that
be able to
JP
pull it
touched
once,
on
but it never
are going to
rewinds back in, and I gotta keep taking it
especially
apart. I
here
can
through
never
Pasadena
figure out how to
Sandville.
get those
Radar
back together
is
again.
Of 130 miles per hour.
Always hated them.
And then we're getting those actual reports of 99. So not too far off here by any means. So we're in a little bit of a weird spot right here. Sometimes when it
Yeah,
gets on the
we're-
edge of it, what can happen is
Oh, yeah, so
that radar
get supplies
beam
together,
goes
hunker
out, and then
down
when it goes back, it catches the
in the
same
lowest level
droplet
of your
water.
home.
It might
Brace
give you
yourself
kind of
for
a guessing
impact and
reading
start
because there's too
drinking
much going
heavily.
on. So that's what we're seeing in that banding right there. But
Yeah,
this will continue
it's a little
to
bit
run in. So
early.
areas in Cape Coral and North Fort Myers, it's not unreasonable to have wind gusts 80, 85 miles per hour with sustained winds, 60 to even up to 70. This is such a powerful storm, especially on the back edge of this pressure. And what we didn't mention was that earlier, 1 hour ago, it was moving at 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, for
That little bit of a
Sarasota.
wobble, now it's at 9 miles per hour. Not much of a difference, but it's noteworthy that it slowed down 1 mile per hour because we want this to keep on moving at this point to get out of here. We are going to be tracking that
Hello,
water continue to
Joko
rise.
KS
We've
Cop
been
Watch.
looking at some
Is
of the
that how you
cameras,
pronounce
and there are
that?
people
Joko?
outside. And
KS
I can't
Cop
stress enough
Watch.
that this is so dangerous. You don't know what is in that water, what is flying around, what could cut you.
Hope
what
you're
could
out
hurt
and
you.
safe.
It is so dangerous to be outside. If you know anyone trying to enjoy this storm,
Ms.
this
Bailey,
is a
so glad you're here. Tell Chuck I said hello, please.
Thank goodness. This is
Hope you guys are
a powerful storm. You don't
safe.
wanna mess with
Like I
the
said, I was
100-mile
watching a little bit of
winds.
your,
You cannot withstand what could
well, I was
hit.
watching for a
Whether
while
take
last
the wind
night.
itself,
Just
or
don't
something
comment
flying
much.
through the wind, hitting you in the head, that's going to be the dangerous
I
part of the
should.
storms, and especially into the water as well. There could be things flying around there as well.
Steve and
We're looking
Jenny,
at,
how you doing?
images from- This is downtown Florence.
Please say prayers for me and my dog in Englewood getting bad. Yeah, Englewood is gonna be bad. Weren't you in a, yeah, it's getting bad. Englewood, you're not far from me. The other end of 776.
We've now had confirmed wind gusts of 99 miles per
776,
hour
I'm
within the
not
past
far
half
from
an hour.
that, so.
And if you look live here
I'm
from
in
the top of the radar tower
zone
in the city of
C. I
Fort
think
Myers,
you're in
you can see for
zone
yourself how bad
in
the weather
Englewood.
is
You
right
gotta
now
be in
as
an A or a
winds
B
are
there,
pushing
brother.
across the
I
city
hope
of
you're
Fort
safe
Myers.
there.
Wind gusts
You
in
stayed
excess
there.
of 100 miles per hour are
Yeah,
possible
prayers
inside
to,
the next hour as this hurricane makes
to,
landfall
Steve and
near the
Jenny,
western
guys.
side of Lee County, on the Lee County Islands.
Englewood. So you guys are still staying in Englewood, huh, Steve and Jenny?
That was a 99 mile per hour wind gust. And right
Englewood's
now they have
getting
sustained winds out of the
slammed, yeah,
southeast at
bad,
62 miles per hour there in that part of Fort Myers. We have sustained winds out of the east northeast at 52 miles an hour in Punta Gorda. And we have sustained winds from the southeast at 40 miles an hour in the city of Naples. When it comes to radar, I'm going to ask
So,
if we could take this forward.
yeah,
I'm gonna walk over to the
where I'm
Cornwall
sitting
so
right
we can
now,
interact with
what
the
I'm
traffic
facing
tool.
is south.
For the area on the leading edge of
My
the eye
backyard
wall,
faces
keep me
south,
around
my
this,
front yard
John
faces
Patrick
north.
showed you just a few minutes ago.
So,
And again,
off
we
to
need
the left
Dr.
is
Two,
east
full
and off
screen
to the
of
right
water.
is
This again
left.
is the leading
Is
edge of the
west.
eye wall.
So,
So it's easier to see these at home. I need this to be full
Give you
screen,
guys a
please.
little
Thank you.
sense of direction
This again is
here if you
an
wanted
eyewall.
that.
So the most intense winds with this Category 4 hurricane in excess of 140 miles an hour.
Yeah,
are
well,
leading this
he needs to do it.
So
Gotta get
speed
that
by
rest, you
12,
guys.
49,
Hope you guys are safe.
Rotunda
So,
west by 12,
Miss Bailey Mae
57,
Bronson, we're,
Rotunda by 109,
I'll just call you
Minnesota
Miss
Key by
Miss Bailey
120,
Mae.
Englewood by
if I may.
138, and Elgin Bean by 152.
So where are you guys right now,
We're going to be trying as
Bailey?
normal as we can here over the next several hours, because as you mentioned, a lot of people are now without electricity, and we are simulcasting our coverage on the radios.
Yeah, and I hope the
106.3
baby's
is the
all right,
one that
too.
comes to mind,
Thanks,
but
Heather.
There's a number of other radio stations within the BZ Media Network that we are continuing. Oh, here it is. One moment. So the radio stations that we're currently simulcasting on include 98.9, 101.9, 104.7, 102, and 9.1. Thank you very much for that information.
Yeah, Joko,
If you're in the
he left from Tampa. That's where it was originally supposed to go up to. It was supposed to go up to Tampa.
In the next few hours, as the most intense part of this hurricane
And,
continues to lift to the
what happened is
northeast
that-
at 9
and
miles per hour. So
I was watching it,
times again.
and you can see how
the current time is
the yellow dotted line they had that was where it went past already, after past Cuba, right over Cuba, that dotted line went on such a angle that you can tell it hooked it and made it start coming lower down to us. It's kind of what Charlie did, but Charlie was a little further up when it decided. Charlie was an even more, less time warning when it came. It hooked over. It was going up and then it hooked over and it was, whoa, surprise, in Charlotte County. And that, like I said, these coastal waters are, they're the ones in for really, really bad stuff.
And this is what is lifting to the northeast at 9 miles per hour. And again, moving to this northwest
For flooding.
of Lee County and areas of the western
We're all
side
gonna
of Charlotte
get
County.
wind
That's
and
now
stuff like
from
that,
landfall of
so
Hurricane Ian as a Category
we can only
4 hurricane
hope that we
on the
don't lose our
western coast of the
power.
county, areas closer to Sanibel Island. If we can lapse
Thanks,
the radar,
Lori,
you'll notice
yeah,
that this
for
is
reminding
moving
people.
along
Hit that like
speed
button,
again,
guys.
speeding at 9 miles
Share
an
this
hour. So
out.
we are just beginning the worst of
Like I
this
said,
now.
I'm gonna
As the
just
hurricane makes
keep
this
this
landfall,
alive as long
it
as
continues to
possible,
very,
just
very
spacing
slowly
out here in my
fall across
backyard.
communities in west of Lee County.
Occasionally I'll take a walk. Like I said, going outside, you're not gonna hear anything I say apparently, right, Heather? So,
Over the next 3 hours.
and the wind will probably make it sound crappy.
The time to be hunkered
That's the
down
worst
in the
thing to be
safest part of
hearing
your
is that
home right
sound.
now. That means in the most interior section of your home, away from windows, and ideally on the lowest floor of your home. You're talking
And that
about winds that are well stronger than what we can see during a tornado. So assume and act as if this was a tornado right over top. That's where you need to be to stay safe if you're choosing to ride out this hurricane in your home, especially right now in the western side of Lee County.
Yeah, Robert
and the
Wolf,
western side of Charlotte County.
like I said, I was here during Charlie, same exact place. Devastated Punta Gorda. Kind of what we're seeing right here. See this wind, wow, hitting right now out there. I mean, even watching on my camera and watching it, looking at it live, it looks worse than it's on the camera even. But, this is about all, like I said, seen with Charlie in my backyard was all this wind. Lost my shed back then. My didn't have, like these sheds. They are grounded. They got the screws in them. They're grounded. They're also hooked up to electricity, so I hope they don't go anywhere. That's for sure. Yeah, I got electric hooked up to both of them. My big long one, I've got that one insulated and sheetrocked. And I got an air conditioner in that running, a window air conditioner on the other side of it. And I got that running to keep, so I can, that's my storage shed. My little one is where I keep my tools. It's my tool shed, stuff like that. My wife can have lots of room in her garage. We don't park our cars in the garage. Keep it for more storage stuff. So, Hello, Tanya D.
Rob.
Thanks
I
for
wanted to
being
go
here.
ahead and, show
Appreciate
you
it.
The Naples Grand Camera. We showed this a few moments ago.
This is,
and since we showed it, we've seen
Port
this
Charlotte,
level up
Florida.
even more. I know we're talking about Santa.
Where the storm's about in a couple hours go right over us.
I clocked just a few minutes ago, but I want to show you that storm surge event is not going to be confined to Charlotte and Lee County. This is happening right now in Collier County.
I'm in
And I wanna go
Port
ahead on
Charlotte.
this camera, while I've got it up
This-
here,
this backyard
see if I can
is
zoom
Port
out
Charlotte.
even more, so we can get kind of a wide
Yeah,
view
yeah,
of
your
the
power
storm
went
surge
out
as
there,
it's happening
Steve,
here.
and came
The
back
problem
on.
with coming
Thank
out
God
this
it
line
came
is
back
sometimes we
on.
get rain on the camera and it's tough to
Thank
see,
God
but
it came back on.
I want to show you this because you can see the flooding here going on all this area here around the Naples Grand Resort. Plus, on top of this, you can see that it's raining very
Yeah.
heavily here right
Well,
now.
Frank, to be honest, all of Florida is getting hammered somehow, some way. This storm is covering all of Florida, the whole thing right now. It's just covering Florida.
A few feet on this street here, and even some of these.
Yeah, Englewood, yeah, that's what I thought. You're in Zone A, huh, Steve? Yeah.
On this house. And on this
You had
house,
that evacuation
whole entire
order.
street is
I
experiencing
hope you guys
flooding
please
right
stay
now,
safe.
in
Please,
major
please,
way. And that's going to
please.
continue. This is not going to let up. That storm surge is going to get even higher as we go through time. As long as we can keep those winds on shore, this is going to continue.
Stay.
wrapping around,
I'm going to stay live here. Steve, if you want. Hey, Raggo Monkey, thanks for coming in and seeing us.
Real time here.
Appreciate that.
And you heard Rob talk about the uptick in lightning. Right now, we're down a few.
So,
down 55 from 59.
yeah, I still
Rob
can't
talked
make
about
moderators
minutes ago.
on this phone. I don't know
But
why.
this eye wall, and you also notice that the red
I know
has
how to
flipped
do it,
back
but,
a little bit over
but
St. James City and Flamingo Bay here.
like saying,
Can't
so,
see that.
Steve
now that this-
and
those-
Jenny,
there's-
my
and
email,
that gusty or hurricane wind has
Yin
flipped
Yang
back a little
News
here
Now
toward the eastern side
at
of that eye wall.
gmail.com.
The western side here on the lopsided
Go
slope
ahead,
is still the strongest,
email
but you
me
can
if
see
you
that
guys
that
need
lightning,
anything,
those
let me
storms
know.
and that convection that indicates very rapidly rising.
Of course, I can't do anything during the storm, but after the storm, you don't have power or anything like that. You know, email me, let me know. If I can help out in any way, I will. Thanks, Raggo Monkey. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to make some more moderators in here, but I can't do it on my phone for some reason. Canal, yeah, that storm surge going in on that. Canal is rising there. Guys, I'm Steve. Stay with us as much as you can. Thanks for Heather Holt for putting my email in there. I appreciate you. Heather Holt, you are one of the best. I love you a lot.
We're still seeing that here, even though we're not in the red. This is going to be your 90, 100 plus mile an hour winds up here.
You're a
in that
beautiful
red area.
person.
So let's go ahead and track this as it
Very
continues
much
to move on
appreciate
shore now
that.
that it's strengthened just a little bit. It's continuing to move off to the northeast right now at about 9 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and.
Oh yeah, and Heather,
something
you
like
met
that.
my niece.
We're going to get Matt Lachey in here at 12:43.
And,
so time right now is 12:21.
She finally got her
So that
place.
will be the next 2 hours.
Her and her husband got their place, which is good. They need that for their family.
Englewood at 121.
But they happen to be in the A zone, so they evacuated to my sister's house, which is her mother, which is in the B zone. Luckily, my dad and I were in the C zone, so. But either way, it doesn't matter.
1243, Englewood 121, South Venice 149.
Again, thanks, Liz. I appreciate you staying here with us. Get the candle flat. Yeah, I got a Darlene Jones Nelson. Thanks for being here. I do have my wife and I got all that stuff ready. My wife is better at this stuff than I am. Thank God for her.
So as I showed you, even
I got a beautiful, wonderful wife.
At Sanibel Captiva and the Cape Ace Peninsula, Lee and Charlotte County, you're still seeing that storm
I got
surge
lucky with that
all
one.
the way through Naples. We're probably seeing some on Marco Island and all the way through some of
Alright, thanks Lori. Like I said, I'm going to stay alive, so as long as I can. You know, people want to pop in and out, see what's happened, anything like that, any differences as time goes on.
Thanks, JB. Exactly what you were saying.
Where I work,
Seeing that storm surge
it
into
closed
parts
for
of North
Tuesday,
Naples, getting those onshore
today,
winds,
for yesterday,
and we're
today,
getting
and
videos.
tomorrow.
So a couple of things to
My
show
boss
you here.
texted me,
This
close
one,
those 3 days. I'm
this
like,
is
oh,
your
that
Vanderbilt
sucks.
Beach. And keep in mind, if we could take this poll
Yeah.
just so I can give you the perspective of how deep this water is and how it's
Hate
still
missing
going
work.
to get even higher. We're not done with the onshore winds for
Pays the
Naples
bills.
just yet. So this is Vanderbilt Beach.
We got a good job. I make alright money. Bills are paid.
To increase.
Green.
I don't know if that is a dolphin, but to me it looks like a shark. I'm no marine biologist, but that does not look like something you want to be nearby. So we're going to have that as well. This is Devonwood. This is
It's
pretty
not a
far
shark.
inland. So this is what we're going to be doing.
This is a shark, but I don't know if you guys
This is
can
why
see
I
it.
said don't go to the beach. Let's
In
go
the water
check
there,
out
there's
Naples
something
Pier.
swimming.
We are not far from that.
Oh,
pier
earlier.
underwater.
This is nuts, and I think it was right here in Charlotte County. When those cameras like they're showing here, three guys were in the water swimming into the, you know, during the storm. It's like, and it was caught on one of their cameras like that. On this ABC News or whatever it is. And these guys were nuts. They were jumping in the water. It's like, whoa. Alright, sorry about that, guys. That means internet went out for a second.
Too much just yet. We're still seeing it kind of wobble just off the coastlines. I wish it was moving a little bit faster, but unfortunately it's not. Actually, let's go to our AWS computer.
Alright, my closet is shelter. My closet for shelter is full of junk food.
Periwinkle. Okay, so let's go to our AWS computer. This is Periwinkle. This is Sanibel. Remember, we were saying that water's going to rise. Now it's rapidly rising and it's moving fast.
Yeah.
So that's the fear that we were expecting. This is why those evacuations were ordered for parts of Sanibel and Captiva, because it is not going to be easy to get off the island for
Sanibel, Captiva.
If we could
The
go
waters
back
are
to the video
filling up
computer
there.
with that Naples Pier, the water's getting even higher just within the past 2 minutes.
I see we're down to 4. Did I lose some people here? Am I still
These are just
live, guys, here? Tell I
as
gotta
the water continues to get
do this
higher
again.
and higher and push in, and I think those are some mangroves in its way.
Down
The water
3,
may easily come up over
4.
those mangroves and push into.
Are we still alive here? Because my internet went out for a second, not sure.
And downtown
Back up to 5.
Rain flooding there.
Jumping a few things are at the moment here, Allison. If we could take a download to the phone, let's take it full so that you can a little easier here. It looks like we still have electricity right now in the downtown River District, but it does look like we've lost at least one of those royal palms that's up near where the Luminary Hotel is at. I'm also in contact with my neighbors. My neighbor in Estero, Ray, just sent this video from his balcony. He says that power is now out in this part of Estero along Corkscrew Road. As you can see how fast the winds are pushing around there in that part of Lee County, which is well away from where the actual eye is, which has been, of course, making landfall in areas of Sanibel Island inside the past half an hour. We're also keeping tabs. As long as we have electricity, we're going to keep showing these cameras as much as we can so that you have an eyes on the ground here. This, again, is a live look from Punta Gorda. And think about how this has evolved in the past half an hour. Toward the top of the hour, we're able to see dry ground in that part of the Peace River, and now the winds have picked up so much the water is pushing back to the west. Now, through an offshore wind in this part of Charlotte County, so this means it's an offshore wind pushing water
Steve,
out of the Peace River.
you got a YouTube channel, brother? Post it,
That's
man.
significant because that's the opposite direction.
And
from
after
the
you
solstice
post it,
event in
I
areas
gotta
like
make you
Charlotte
another,
County is at, all right? So that
I gotta
video
make you,
live camera that you saw just a moment ago. I'm gonna zoom in here real close so you can see
yeah.
it. It's
Let me
here
go
off
to
of
another
Maryland
phone,
Avenue.
see if I
So
can
right now the water in the
make
Peace
you,
River is moving in this general direction because it's moving around
moderator.
the
Then you
eye
can
of
post
Hurricane
the
Ian,
link to your
which
channel
right
if you
now
want.
is located right here. All right, so for the
So,
time being, we still have this
okay, let's
offshore
see what
wind
we
in
can get
Charlotte
here.
County that's encouraging the water to get pulled offshore and toward the Gulf of Mexico. Eventually, though, as the eye of the hurricane continues to move to the north-northeast It looks like the center of it is eventually going to go right over top of Charlotte Harbor, as again it moves to the north-northeast only at 9 miles an hour. So the main concern in the next half an hour is what's happening right here in the front of this eye wall. And to make this a little easier to see, I'm going to ask that we send the control room over to the weather wall, so we need the weather camera adjusted. I just want to make sure that if you are riding up this hurricane in the western side of Charlotte, it's about to go down big time in the next hour. So storm is not even going to come moving to the north-northeast like loud. So communities that are about to get hit by the eye wall here inside the next 30 minutes would include these communities and of course against the immediate coastline. Manasota Key, Rotunda, St. Placida.
Steve, I think I just made you a moderator there. I don't want to leave two of them going out and know what it's having an effect on this.
In the middle of the eye wall here. All right, so I'm understanding from our producer that we have a live perspective from Englewood Beach, and Englewood, as you know, is up here in Bay. Let's just take the camera
live
forward.
perspective.
We
Are we still on here, guys? I can't tell.
So that is from our partners at EarthCam. You're looking from the Englewood area toward the Gulf of Mexico. And remember that the winds are still offshore in this part of Englewood. So there's more beach now than there is on just a regular day, because look at how the winds are blowing those trees around. The air is moving from land and toward water, so it's pushing the water away from Englewood Bay. Eventually, as the winds wrap around the hurricane, though, the risk of storm surge is going to increase in parts of Lee County as areas of Charlotte County. Now, if we could come back out here to the weather wall.
Yeah, it's making landfall in Sanibel, yeah.
Because as my colleague Kelly Burns has been in communication with some friends of hers in the Naples area, we continue to see saltwater flooding right now in parts of the Naples Park area off of, Connors. Now, this is because the winds are pushing this saltwater into neighborhoods like this. So as the salt pushed into these canals, and this is the neighborhood here to the east of Gulf Shore Drive and to the west of Vanderbilt, where we've seen this water move up and over the seawalls, and it's causing flooding here in these communities in the North Naples area. But remember, this is not going to be the area that has the worst storm surge, because for the time being, the winds over this part of Naples are actually moving in this direction, so they're almost going parallel to shore.
Liz just lost internet. Okay.
The wind that is parallel to shore. The worst storm surge is going to be in areas where that wind collides with the land, and that's going to.
Is your aunt all right, Heather?
You see how the way the
I hope she's all right.
The shoreline
said you were calling her earlier.
As those onshore winds continue to push the water in that direction, it will help to fill up Estero Bay, and that is why the risk of significant and historic storm surge is possible in areas like Fort Myers Beach over the next few hours. As these winds align here, as the National Hurricane Center has been trying to convey, the possibility of more than 12 feet of saltwater flooding is possible on Estero Island. These winds align and stay onshore long enough to push that much salt water here up and over the seawalls and onto what is normally dry ground. The area that we have to be most concerned about right now, and the area where there is going to be devastating wind damage in areas of Lee County and western Charlotte County. And that is because, again, our eye wall is now moving onshore across the western side of the plain. I know there's a lot of folks who are watching in Cape Coral, so why don't we zoom in here a bit closer to Cape Coral. Folks, if you're in the Cape, right now let's use Park point, and I'll pull out this measurement tool. JC Park here just to the north of the Cape Coral Bridge in the southeast corner of the city. Right now, if you're in Cape Coral, you're about 6.5 miles away from the brunt of this eye wall that is moving to the north-northeast. So again, there could be substantial wind damage as this eye wall of the hurricane continues to move across areas of eventually western and northwestern Cape Coral, across Pine Island, up and down Pine Island. Right now, the weather is simply awful. Eventually, here in the next few minutes, communities closer to Matlacha. I believe I'm going to send things now over to my colleague, the chief meteorologist, Allison Ray. Allison, what are you seeing from your perspective?
So what I'm really trying to concentrate on right now is how is this eye behaving over the past hour or two? How is it going to move onshore? Honestly, the past half hour it's become a little bit more elongated, but it's not moving very fast. We are seeing the outer bands starting to push onshore. That official landfall is there for Sanibel and Captiva, but we're not seeing any great movement over the past half hour of the actual center of the storm pushing on shore. So unfortunately, until we see great movement in this eye, these southerly winds are going to continue. That water level that we see in Sanibel and Captiva is going to increase, and it will substantially increase, maybe even over another foot or so, and roads will be completely impassable if they already are not already. Another area that will continue to see the waters rise is going to be Pine Island. The Matlacha Bridge will be, I wish we had a camera there to see how that was developing as well. Let's go back to the Chiquita Walk. Let's look at something here. So the water has already come up. I would say from the last time we looked at this, I bet it was about an hour ago. That looks like it's up another 6 to 8 inches from what we saw last time. You can see the weather blowing in the wind. That will continue to increase as well. Let's go back to First Alert Live Doppler here. And what is interesting that we've been pointing out is the lightning. It's not starting to weaken because we're still seeing those powerful winds. This is a half-hour move of this eye of the storm. And it's just not, it looks like it's starting to get closer to it, and then it just kind of stalls out a bit. This was the worst fear, that if over the next few hours we continue to see this stall out, the winds will continue throwing at Naples. I'm actually getting some video in right now into places near Pine Ridge with water near 41 spilling into those regions as well. So nowhere is really going to be safe from that water rising. Even areas inland, we have those flood advisories lit as well for areas even into Monthly and Ave Maria. As more rain comes in, the water pushes in. Just the entire water table of where Florida is going to be so saturated. So the water, as these networks kind of work together, it would just slowly rise across all of, especially our coastal communities. Even if the onshore winds aren't even in your region, just the water tables will continue to push up farther to the north. What we're also seeing is up through Rotunda and the Cape Pace Peninsula, you are just minutes away from the winds getting very strong. If you're in the Cape Pace Peninsula, if you're in Rotunda, Placida, Rotunda West, even up from Port Charlotte, you need to be making sure you know where you want to be in your home, where's the safest spot in your home. These strong winds are going to be moving into your region. Later on this evening, as this band of thunderstorms on the far northwest side come in, think north of Venice in this trajectory off to the northeast, that's where that heavy rain will come from. The problem with this hurricane, amongst many of things, is that the west side has just as many threats as the east side, and we're getting all of it. So it will continue to push on through parts of the Tampa region. That rainfall total that will continue to push on in. They will see substantial rain on top of the other flooding as well. I'm sorry, what did you say? Where is it? Live look at Sanibel. Okay, let's take a look at that. Live look at Sanibel, the flooding there. Yeah, it's just getting higher and higher. I think we saw this a little bit ago, and I could see the bottom of those windows back off to the north and the far northwest part of the screen. I could see more of those doors, and now they're starting to increase. I mean, just this weight, this water is just rushing on in, and it's just still spinning out there. Do we have JP over onto the ABC side tracking? Okay, I'm going to toss it over to Chief Meteorologist John Patrick at ABC7. What are you tracking now?
Well, we pulled up the on camera here from Short Point Health, I should say, and we noticed some blinding rain and some really gusty wind conditions blowing here over the past 5 to 10 minutes. And we can actually see across the Peace River now. That was not the case a few moments ago. So that eye wall, which is over Sanibel and Captiva, is moving off to the northeast. So we can see, well, the camera just froze there. We have been seeing off and on these gusts that are blowing the water right down the Peace River, and we're going to continue to see that. Right now, the water is being blown in this, here it goes, it picked back up again. With these wind gusts, every now and again, we'll lose the internet connection to our camera, and it'll freeze up like that. But you can see the water being pushed in the direction. So that would be towards the Gulf of Mexico, because the wind right now coming around the northern side of Hurricane Ian is out of generally the east, technically the east-northeast, and as that passes by the center of the storm, because this is going to be the opposite direction. It's going to come back up the river, and that's what we're going to see causing all the storm surge that we have been talking about now for several days. Let's go here to our WeatherFund computer, AWS computer. I wanted to show you here that right now in real time at Charlotte High School, unfortunately the weather station at Short Point Health, the wind must have knocked that out already because we weren't getting any data from there. The camera's still working, so that's at least something. But you see that easterly wind right now, and that's in real time. That's 46 miles per hour there at Charlotte High School. We've already seen a gust at 80 miles per hour.
Sorry,
so
guys, left a
easterly
minute.
wind is pushing that water out
Let's
toward
see,
the Gulf of
that is
Mexico right now.
Scared about hanging
After, oh, look at
in.
that, just bumped up to 64. After the
Now, Heather,
that
same
storm
thing goes
passes
for
by,
you. I
we're gonna
mean,
see
I'm
this
not far
jump
from
around to the
Sarasota.
west. It's going to come from the complete opposite direction, and that's going to take all that water that's been drained or
You're at,
drained out of the
after
Peace
the
River, it's
storm,
gonna
you're at,
push it
needs
all the way
anything,
back up.
you got my
And then
number,
it's gonna
Heather.
drag
Give me a
into the
call.
Gulf of Mexico
I'm
on
close to
top of
her.
that.
I'll help
So
you out
that's
in
the
any way I
storm
can,
surge that
okay?
has not started yet in Charlotte's county along the Peace River, but after that storm center passes by, it is going to start. We're already seeing some
Fox
storm
News and
surge
Case Coral
in
now
parts
giving
of
live
Naples, around the Naples, and because the center is already by those areas, and that wind
So,
is already
Heather,
onshore.
So what is that link you put up there, just so I know? I had walked away for a minute,
And we'll
I
show
don't
you here.
know.
This is the
Just so I
Naples
know what
Grand
it
Beach
is.
Resort monitoring this
What's
camera
it
because
for?
this is
I don't mind you
fascinating,
doing
not
it,
in a good way.
because that's what you're there
This
for,
is what I'm
darling,
talking about. The winds are
and I
already
appreciate
coming
you doing
onshore
it.
across
Matter of
Collier
fact,
County and
just
parts
wanna
of
know what-
southern Lee County. So this
what
is
it-
what we're seeing right now in real
yeah.
time. It's still windy, but the main thing now
Is
here
that
in Collier
Steve
County
and,
is going to be the water coming onshore. And you can see the houses here, right
Steve
here in
and,
the Naples Grand Beach Resort are flooding right now because of that storm surge. I want to go ahead to our radar here. We're going to stay on this same computer. I'm going to go into.
Oh, that's
our
Ryan
analysis
Hall,
zone
okay.
here. And the lightning
Alright, great,
strikes
great.
have gone
I'm gonna have to
earlier
check
when I
that out.
started, and I
I've
paid
been
attention to
thanks for
Ryan
that link.
mentioned it. We had 59
Definitely.
lightning strikes.
Because I wanna check that out.
And now we're down to 28 within the last 15 minutes.
I wanna
And
check
all
that
of
out.
those lightning strikes are here kind of on that northeastern side of the eye wall. So this is still a very active and developing area of the eye wall. We have noticed about an hour ago the red cut off right about here. But with all that lightning that has popped over the last hour or so, we're starting to see it backfill here now down island. The lightning is about to Flamingo Bay right there, not quite down to St. James City. But we've noticed this red area. These are the gustiest of winds, at least on this storm. We've noticed that build and get a little bit stronger. So we're getting in of the 9-mile-an-hour wind gust that we had there at Sanibel Harbor on the Fort Myers side of the causeway. And we're continuing
I'm
to
gonna
see
check
that.
that
And
out.
as we track this
Let me check
over the
that
next
out.
couple of hours, that's going to continue through the afternoon. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do a couple of tracks here because this eastern side of the eye wall here is kind of split up a little bit. So what I want to do is track this at 9 miles an hour off to the north-northeast, that initial little line. And it gets into Englewood here at 1:04 this afternoon. We're going to go out 120 minutes there. That'll give us 2 hours worth of times here. So as we go on again, I'm tracking just this little area right here of the eye wall. We'll get to this one in a moment. Englewood at 1:03, South Venice at 1:39, Port Charlotte at 1:57, Venice at 1:59, and Northport at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So it's 12:32 right now. Got about 20 minutes in Englewood until this initial portion of the eye wall gets to you. 1:35 there in South Venice, and then Port Charlotte at 1:57, downtown Venice at 1:59, Northport at 2 o'clock. And now I'm going to do a trip for this other portion of the because this is going to contain some of the heaviest. So it's going to kind of be a 1-2 punch. You'll get this initial eye wall, you'll get a little bit of a break, and then the second portion, let me start that again. The second portion of this is going to come through some even gustier winds. We'll take this and drag it off at 9 miles an hour off to the north. Technically, we've noticed a little jog to the north-northwest, but we'll split the difference between the advisories to the north-northeast and what we've been noticing on radar off to the north-northwest. We'll go ahead and drag this out again. 120 minutes. So then, after that first initial line, Englewood 140, South Venice at 2:30. So as I mentioned, it's going to be a 1-2 punch with this portion of the eye wall. Unless something changes and this fills in.
I just
over the next
subscribed
several
to him,
minutes.
Heather.
That's what we're looking at right now. We're also tracking
Judge
this
sent me
area
that
moving
link,
off to
giving
the north,
credit.
northeast
Okay.
as well. That's going to affect
Thanks,
portions
Judge.
of
Hey,
the
Topher
Lookout.
Life,
So
how
let's
you
go ahead
doing,
and do a
brother?
track for that little
Glad to
area
see you back.
on our live radar.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in and out.
The south side
Yeah.
of Pine Islands. We'll do it
It's not like you guys sitting here and watch, but you gotta go do something. And, hey, let's see what's happening. Maybe a tree fell down or something. I don't know.
Into
we still got
Brand 1250 and Lokelia at 108.
a little bit of
those
time
are the areas
before,
where this of the eye wall, as you get
before it starts
towards-
coming
more
over
towards the
us.
center where the eye is.
It looks
That's
like
gonna be
the edge of the eye is
land right in
touching
here,
over
moving off to the northeast. So those are the areas again,
Captiva right
Pine
now.
Island,
So I guess it may
Brand
land all
1250,
over there.
and Lokelia at
it's heading
108.
up
And while I have you here for a
in
moment, I
a
want to talk about our radio partners here.
northeastern
that are simulcasting
direction.
on right now. So if something happens and the power loses,
Gonna go right through
there's a-
Punta Gorda and
you have an
then
option to get
in
our
that
96
direction. That
and
means
our
it's gonna
86
come over
news
me
apps. We
too.
have
So.
live streams on there with video. But then, if you
So we'll
want to
get as
insert
much
your cell phone
footage as we
battery,
can as the
you wanna
storm
go to
goes
the radio.
over.
And those are 98.9.
Thanks, Topher. It's really good to see you too, brother.
104.7 The Mix. We're also on Sunny 106.3 and 96 K-Rock, which is at 96.1. All those.
So I subscribed to that Ryan guy's channel there, but I guess I gotta wait for
as well.
being subscribed for 10 minutes before I can leave a comment. So I was gonna leave a comment, tell him Heather Holt sent me.
Okay, thank you, JP. We're going to continue to monitor these rain.
or should I say Heather Holt and Judd?
Right now.
Heather.
So we're live in the camera here. We're going to give you a
I'm either gonna let 'em know you
behind
sent
the
me.
scenes of what we're doing here in the studio. We have 2 studios keeping you
Or
up
should I
to
give
date about
credit
this storm
also
that's
to
pushing on
Judd,
in.
both of
Let's
you?
go
Let
to
me
a
know.
live look out at Sanibel. Conditions continue to see the waters rise in parts of Sanibel. Now, all right, here it is. So this is a live picture of the waters continuing to rise. What's going to happen in Sanibel momentarily? The rain is starting to let up. That's rainfall. Actually, the eye of the storm will begin to move into Sanibel momentarily within just a few minutes. But that does not mean the waters won't continue to rise. The southerly winds on the east side of that eye of the storm are going to continue to push more and more water into our region. We're also getting some video in from Cape Coral. We're going to have that too coming up a little bit later. That substantial water beginning to increase. I know in my neighborhood up in North Fort Myers, getting a couple images
All right,
of some
Steve.
trees down
How you doing?
as well. So this is becoming a very.
you still there?
It was not dangerous last night.
I
This is
made you a
beyond
moderator.
getting
You can go
very
ahead and
life-threatening,
post your
the amount of water that
YouTube
we're seeing
channel on here
increase
if you want.
across the region. Let's go to
And,
First Alert Live Doppler here. Like I mentioned, Captiva and Sanibel.
See if you get some,
starting to move on in, but the threats are far from over.
Getting
The
some
threats
footage,
will
any footage
continue
during this
into
hurricane.
the evening
I would
until
suggest
we
anybody
are
in there.
done with these onshore
Got a
winds.
YouTube channel,
Take a
go
look at
live.
the here or there if the winds let up, especially through
As
the
it's
eye,
going over
but
us.
it's going to continue. One thing
You know,
I
any
would point
kind
out
of-
to you though, and JP was pointing at this band of rain, this heavy rain.
You just live in Cape Coral, so
miles
far?
wide. And remember, the storm is moving less than that. It's moving about 9 miles per hour. So you're going to be dealing with
Yeah,
heavy rain.
so Steve and Jenny,
heaviest
I
rain
don't
that
know
we
if you were
have.
here
Also, the lightning and the strongest
earlier,
winds for well over an hour.
but I
Parts of Bokeelia, Pineland,
told you my
Harbor Harbor
email.
moving into your region momentarily. Charlotte Harbor, here comes the rain. I know Charlotte
Heather
Harbor,
posted
the
it for me
water from the harbor
earlier.
starting to
She
move
wants
out.
to go ahead and post it again.
Again, once this eye passes, that water will come.
Again,
back
and,
in a
you know,
flow.
anyone
So
wants to
Bristol Marine
email
will
me,
have you
go
on
ahead and
07.
email me,
I'm going to step over on this side of the screen.
have anything
As
to ask or
9121
anything
pushing
like
on
that.
in. I am going to zoom farther south.
I'll be
because we are
happy to check
focusing
my
on where
email
the highest
for
winds are
that.
right now. That doesn't mean that's the only threat on the map, on the table here. Over 10 to 1250, you're going to have the winds continue to pick up. You're just starting to see. I have this on a time lapse for the past hour. Rotunda, you're going to start to see the heaviest bands of rain and the strongest
Thanks, Heather.
winds.
Thanks.
You're on the eye of the storm here.
Okay,
Pushing on in
Steve
Port
and Jenny,
Charlotte,
Heather
218.
posted
It's
your
gonna take
channel
that
for me.
long
Heather's
to go up
awesome.
Into Port Charlotte, 218.
If Heather's
That's how
ever in
slow
your
the storm is moving,
in
from
your
10 to 9
chats
miles per hour.
there,
What's gonna be good,
she's a
to see
definite
here,
awesome
another piece
moderator.
of information that we
So,
can gather
she also has her
coming
own
up in just
channel,
about
guys.
12 minutes. The National Hurricane Center will give us
We
another
want,
update
and she's doing a
and
great
tell us how
job
fast
out
the
there.
storm is
I'm
moving.
seeing a
But
lot of
time travel
footage that
for
she's
you,
putting out there, a
at the
lot
eye
of
the
good
storm, and it
footage,
is moving
a
from
lot
this
of news
past hour
story
to moving
stuff.
at about 9 miles per hour.
I think I ought to
Such a
check
large
into kind of
storm,
doing
such a
that.
large eye.
I was more of,
Remember when
I
we
just
were
film either
saying
live
the only thing
or
similar to the
stuff
storm
like
Charley
that. I
is the
never
path.
really
You
did
can
other
fit
people's
Charley
news.
in this eye
Yeah,
twice
so
before,
maybe
we
that's
run
something
out
I
of room.
should
So
check
that's how big and
into,
powerful
doing
the storm
that.
is, and that's why we're seeing those impacts.
I don't know if
where it's
anyone's
making
heard, but
landfall,
congratulations
well the
to
south as
Richard
well.
Massey
We're getting a
and
lot of reports
Andrew
into
Sheets.
Fort Myers, even near 41. parts of
Congratulations
Naples,
to you
North
guys out
Naples,
there.
Norfolk Island. Naples Pier is basically
They won their
lost
case
the camera feed to the Naples
on
Pier
the,
because of how strong those winds are. That water will continue
on
to
the-
increase.
on,
The flood advisories continue, and this water
the
will
sign
work its
violation
way
where you can't have the
as
F
water
word, and
continues
they
to rise.
so they won their
There's nowhere
case.
else to go
They're not gonna
to
have to pay
continue to push
anything
inland. So areas,
now, and
west of 41
and kind of
need
they were told
to
you guys
start
can't use
thinking
that,
of a plan.
It's illegal.
There's no escaping the
and
water at this point, so think
that's
about
great.
going
I'm glad
up.
that happened.
If you start to see the
I
water
guess
become
next step
too
is
much
that
to
federal
handle, you
case
wanna
thing.
take
I
the
think they
water
both have a
once
federal
in your
case
house,
going
even if,
of a
that
lawsuit.
means that you might have to do a
Again,
little
I don't want to
claiming.
give
We're gonna be running
misinformation
into
out there,
issues
so I'm
within
not
the next
exactly
few hours.
sure
The
on
problem
that.
I'm concerned
But
about,
I'm hoping.
and
I'm hoping that,
some of these water levels coming up. What I'm
Yeah,
concerned about
things work out
is
for
that
'em.
we're
They know
not
better
even
on what's
at
going on. So
landfall
going to their
near.
channels,
We're a few hours from
I'm
the
sure that
backage
you'll
of
get
this
more
eye
information.
of the storm making its way on San Juan Captiva. So it's going to be another few hours of these levels just moving up even higher. and higher.
So
If I may,
Keep in touch with me, guys. Jenny, Steve, and Jenny.
The hurricane is. If you're in Charlotte County, the winds are still blowing offshore.
If you
But
need
you're in
anything
Naples,
after the
storm
storm,
surge
let me
event
know.
is starting right now. And if I could ask the controller to take the Doppler 2 graphic source, this here is a look at the gauge that we have available to us from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Yeah, Heather, I'm watching a little bit of that,
And as you'll notice,
Ryan's
we are
channel there. I
storm surge
subscribed.
right now, where the water level is about to 5 feet. That is major flooding status here for this part of Naples Bay. The blue line shows you where the predicted or typical water levels will be
yeah,
for this
so,
period of time. Notice how we're approaching a high tide
he's
cycle
really
here in
showing
this part of
some
Naples.
good stuff
As
on
we
there.
continue storm surge
Actually,
force,
almost better than what
measured
regular
water
news
levels
is showing.
that are exceeding 5 feet.
Actually, from what I'm seeing, he looks like he does pretty good on there, huh, Heather? So you can go ahead and post his channel again. If anybody go to that channel, he's given some good information on there. So.
Wind is a big concern over the next hour in Charlotte County and Lee County because that's where the brunt of these substantial.
Of course, you got to check with the county and all that. Basically, they're saying don't go anywhere.
Miles per hour in Naples, 79 miles per hour in Palm. And the eye has yet to arrive in Palm Gorda. 66 miles per hour in the city of Cape Coral. That was measured at the fire station. And then as you notice here for these other wind reports, we had a 66 mile per hour gust in Grove City in Charlotte County and an 84 mile per hour gust in Dingarland. That's of course the wildlife area on Sanibel Island. In addition to this, our network here at NBC2 and ABC7 has also observed wind gusts of 99 miles an hour at the Sanibel Harbor Yacht Club, and we've had wind gusts in excess of 80 miles an hour measured at the International Airport in Lee County to the east of Interstate 75. This is the first video that I'm seeing sent to our studios here of Dan.
Hey, Steve Stevens, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
This was sent to us from
Oh,
NBC2
thanks,
and
Topar.
ABC7 viewer
Heather's
Kevin
channel,
Brand.
second
Kevin
channel.
didn't say exactly where he was
Yeah.
in the city of
Yeah, guys,
obviously up against one of the city's
you know,
beautiful canals that it is known for. And we're starting
go ahead,
to
if you're a mod, go ahead,
boats.
post your
And
own
it's
channels
so
here.
understandable considering what's going on.
This phone don't
This
let me.
category 4 hurricane is just west of the
Hey,
city of
Hawk
Cape
fan
Coral
for
right
life,
now,
good to
and
see you.
it's
Thanks for
producing
being
damaging
here.
wind gusts that will
Please
go
smash that
immediately
like
across
button,
the
guys,
western
as you
side
come
of Lee
in.
and the western side of Charlotte
Share
County.
this
This is
out.
also some
I'm
awfully
planning on
scary
staying
video.
live here for a
This year
while.
sent to NBC2
Basically
and
gonna
ABC7
just keep it
viewer,
towards my
Joe.
backyard
Joe
here so
didn't
you
say
can see
specifically
stuff.
where he was. All I know is the zip code, and the
Once
zip
in a
code
while,
comes
go
in
take a
from what's
walk out.
considered northwest
You
Cape
know,
Coral. And
when I go outside,
so
you're not going to be able to hear me. The wind will be so loud.
you
So
can see for yourself how
let me
that's
turn
going
that
around the
TV
trees.
down a
You can see
little,
for
too.
yourself the waters here. Could the producer repeat that, please? Let's take one more live look here at Englewood Beach. And again, that's because as I mentioned to you in Charlotte County, low winds are still offshore in areas like Englewood Beach. So what you're seeing there, the waters are pushing offshore, moving away from the beach. But that will change here as the eye of the hurricane continues to move to the north-northeast at 9 miles an hour. Now, I showed you just a moment ago that very compelling video from the Matlacha and northwest Cape Coral area. If I could ask the controller to switch up sources.
okay, guys, how we doing? We still here? No, power back on again.
This corner of the city of Cape Coral. So if you're in these western Lee, southern and western portions of Charlotte County, the
No, power out again.
It's not going to go like that.
Steve and Jenny, looks like the ice storm going over you. You see clearing. And you're in Englewood. Okay, so as far as now, as power is out, so. Huh? Back on again.
I'm trying to say here, moving toward the western side of the Cape Base Peninsula. Inside the next 15 minutes, it is 12:55 right now. Radar will pen the Bywall in the Rotunda area on 105. And this, of course, is in western Charlotte County. This is an area that was under a mandatory evacuation, and you can see why when you consider what's happening here across the western Lee County and areas of western Charlotte County. Give me a moment here, we'll switch up the product. We'll see if the radar is in a better place to give us an idea of the wind speeds right now. A moment ago, we had live perspective on right here. Knowing that the winds are going offshore in this part of Charlotte County, so we've got a wind direction moving like that. And the winds are pushing up here, especially over the Gulf. We pixel some of these points, like what's out here. That's showing winds at 115 miles per hour. Now remember that that's at the peak.
That's where you guys are, Steve and Jenny.
Radar beams are shot up at an angle and pulled to the sky where the radar beam hits that point to the atmosphere. It's indicating the winds are moving at again 119 miles per hour. So when you transit that down to the surface, that means we receive winds in excess of 100 miles per hour here based off of the radar returns. That motion means that all that substantial wind on that part of the eyeball will likely move into areas of Sarasota County. So if you're watching from front of the viewing area in the Gulfport area, the potential of some extreme wind damage is in the forecast here in the next 60 minutes as the eye wall continues to lift to the north-northeast at 9 miles an hour. As you the continual landfall of this slow-moving hurricane, you'll notice
Yeah, the eye is still near Sanibel
one
there.
piece of the eye over the western side of Lee County.
So,
You've got
it hasn't
one side
quite
of
gotten
the
up
top
even
of the
to
Gulf,
Port Charlotte
and
yet.
a gigantic hole in the middle, and that is quite
It's not near Venice or Englewood.
The center of the eye is sometimes very small. I don't believe we have enough of a satellite picture to show you that it's completely cleared out, but the expanse of that eye goes out 30 miles. That's about where it was yesterday when it was going through these eye wall placement cycles. So obviously a formidable hurricane has a very some serious wind damage.
How's that for a fact? I'm telling you, I'm looking at camera and seeing this wind and stuff, and it's not. If you're sitting here, it looks a lot worse than it looks on this camera.
A few cameras here. I want to also show you some wind gusts that I found here over the last few minutes. This is the camera from Kalia Bay, and it's looking out toward the.
I don't know how fast the winds are supposed to go.
We don't. We
I think they were saying up to 90 miles an hour way earlier
so hard, and the wind is
last night.
still even towards
So
that we are seeing a lot of storm surge. And keep in mind, all this is, all this water here at the Gulf of Mexico, it's getting blown into all these canals here, particularly the bay, and all the canals that feed into it. Also wanted to show you
tornado in Okeechobee.
that we've been watching as far as the storm surge. This is a clear camera. It looks like it's frozen up there, so we may have lost the internet connection to that one, but even though it is frozen...
Yeah, Steve, I know it's 35 miles long. I'm looking at the news here right now, brother. They just showed it, and it's the eye is right near Sanibel.
We've got a camera here from
And I get that it's 30 miles, but even the top of it hasn't even reached Port Charlotte yet, from what this news is showing. So, power keeps going in and out here. Some places are getting 130 plus gusts, yeah. We're getting gusts right now out here. You can see it.
These have all happened within the last 30 minutes, especially this 111 here.
Here you go, Steve, if you want to kind of get a look at the news then.
That's 111 miles an hour. We're still, even though the second is removed from Naples, we're still seeing those gusts to 111. Our site there is a little bit elevated, so that number might be a little on the high side, but still over 100 miles per hour.
I don't know if you're out of electric or what there, Steve, but
110 miles per hour. That gust happened at 12:44, so 15 minutes.
there's some, you want to, I don't know if you watch this one here. This is just an antenna. Well, I got this TV hooked up just to antenna.
We are just getting everybody's videos and pictures in, so please keep sending us if you are safe. And speaking of that, I want to show you video of a video in Cape Coral of a woman walking down the street here. So this is the first time I've seen this, and I think, okay, so you can see a lot of the debris. Oh, that's exactly what we're talking about. We don't want to be outside. This is not the time to go outside and start cleaning up. Okay, so you see what I mean? That even though the winds don't seem that high, that debris can hit you and injure you. So it's the debris, it's the water, it's anything in the water. We really need to be inside, not cleaning things up. Nothing. Preparations are over. It is what it is. We have to just wait for this storm to pass. Keep sending us your videos from inside your home. I'm getting a few images in right now, and I'm gonna have ready for you in a little bit. Videos are, pictures are great as well. Water come up into Bonita Beach. I just got a clip for you in a little bit from my friend down from Barefoot Beach. The water is moving into those homes as well, and we're also getting reports of some trees
I don't know if you're still there,
in
Steve,
north of our
but-
seafront, large trees.
And then you'll go, Steve, this is the eye. Here's Inglewood.
To 100, 110 miles.
Don't worry, the eye's coming. It's coming.
Pushing places like north into Babcock Ranch, into Suncoast Estates, into Fort Myers Shores, into downtown Fort Myers. Those winds are going to continue. Then farther south into places like Naples and then down to Estero, the water will continue to race. I think we're getting some new video. Is this from Everglades City, Rob?
Yeah, Deja, why don't you just take a step? As you're sending in your videos to us here at NBC2 and ABC7, I'm just kind of ingesting them as we speak. So maybe perhaps it's easier if we just take the Doppler 2 source full. We're just getting some brand new video analysis from Allie, who is down in the Everglades City area. First, she was in a boat, but she's in a come a lot earlier than it will in Lee County and in Charlotte County. So we are already seeing significant surge in Everglades City. I showed a few moments ago that we had confirmed storm surge in the Naples Bay area, where the water levels right now are running up to 5 feet, which is, if I understood correctly, one of the highest storm surge values that have been particular observations there. So storm surge is happening right now in areas of Collier County. Right now the wind threat is the biggest threat in Lee County, and eventually it's going to move into areas of Charlotte County. Yeah. Here's a look at that water gauge report there in the Naples area. I guess go back to the graphics full then. So again, this is a look at that water level report for the Naples Bay area from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That red spiking line shows you the blue shows you where it should be, red shows you where it actually is. We have a big flooding, and that would be well above the major flooding stage for that particular observation site in the city of Naples from the National Weather Service. While I'm here, why don't we take a few live looks outside and try to give folks
Hello, Excalibur. How you doing, brother?
This is a
Good to
live
see
look
you.
from the camera that we have on top of the Doppler radar. It's a bit toward the down sea if many of those streets are flooded. That Central Avenue in the city of Fort Myers, it tends to flood really, really easily. And it looks like for the time being it's holding out. And I also want to scan the horizon here to see if I'm noticing any tree damage. At least from this perspective, it's pretty hard. You might be missing some of the small scale details. But I don't see a whole bunch of trees like knocked over at least. But it's like there could be one there that one of us in a touch. Perhaps some tree damage there, but it looks like the tree itself is holding up. You see some freshwater rain flowing there in that field between those two housing developments. But as we scan the sky, at least across this part of Fort Myers right now, you certainly don't see widespread structural damage to these apartments and these buildings here. Don't notice much in the way of major tree damage. Though we did notice that pulling in this morning there was a large tree limb that had fallen just off the fire. So that's certainly good. We don't see significant damage here in Fort Myers. I'm pulled on my producer that we just have some Rayleigh video coming in from Cape Coral, some tree damage. So why don't we take that full there as a source? So the screens of it looks like okay, we've got some flags there. And
Hey, Tiff, how you doing, darling? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, saying hi.
tree damage there in that.
I'm gonna stay live as long as possible here, guys. And as you can see, it's coming a little bit right now. A little windy there.
A few minutes ago, winds at 110 miles an hour in parts of Collier County there. The Naples Grand Beach Resort.
So go ahead, share this out, guys, and be available. Anyone wants to stop in, take a look, leave, come back, do whatever. I'm staying live for a while, and
Or this might be in a bit of a glitch there, but it would be very understandable if electricity was out on the spare while, and considering the flooding that's going on, very strong winds that have been pushing across coastal County. This perspective inland, right in the Babcock Ranch area, one of the safest places to be from storm surge at least. And as you'll notice, a real strong across this part of eastern Charlotte County. It looks like the trees are managing just fine for the time being, but we'll be touching base, of course, with our friends inland, and we keep the folks on the coast ahead of the storm surge event that will likely get worse here over the next few hours as look at the wind there. Wow. That's really something else. So since I have you, why don't we switch back on sports, and we'll keep Doppler 2 at the wall. I'm going to turn this over to you.
power back on again. At least we're lucky it's coming back on again.
And the stereo is farther to the west of you, so the worst and most substantial things are still just a touch to the west. I have been in touch with some neighbors of mine in the stereo. This thing is out along Corkscrew Road, so in many of these communities across the southern Lee County, even though they will be spared the brunt of the worst gets by wall, in the springs, as the winds have been gusting in 8 parts of Collier County here in North Naples in excess of 110 miles per hour, as based on that anemometer report that's on the, I believe it's on the Kalia Bay building, which is a taller building, so the winds will be a little more elevated. Of course, the stronger the winds are going to be, but there's certainly evidence of wind gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour in these neighborhoods here across northwest Collier and the southern tier of Lee County. As I mentioned, though, when you consider what's happening, a very slow movement of the hurricane, north-northeast, only at 9 miles an hour, We'll watch the radar here for the past 30 minutes and try to see any trends. If it looks like it's bounced one way or the other, we'll run that back one more. Doesn't really want to update all too much here, but we really have no other evidence of late that it's going the direction besides north-northeast. And again, that forward speed sure is slow as it continues to jump into the north-northeast at only 9 miles an hour. So real slow here. So unfortunately, the worst of the weather approaching areas of the western Charlotte County. I mentioned that at the top of the hour here, we were talking about how Rotunda would be expected to grow through the storm here by 1. So if we zoom in, central where Rotunda is at on the western side of the Cape Basin Peninsula, it's 108 was spoken in time. The leading edge of the eye wall, now less than 2 miles away from these neighborhoods in Rotunda. Since we're here over top of western Charlotte, let's try to perspective we can of the
It's
winds.
okay, you're not on
Just
here.
look at that. These
I got it
winds
facing out that way.
some really, really strong winds aloft. Wow, 140 miles per hour is where
My
the
wife's
wind
afraid of the
is
camera.
picking up on the wind speeds right now.
Want me to show you on the
This is
camera?
at beam height. So as the beam shoots out from the radar tower,
She
it
don't
goes
talk to
higher
me.
and higher into the atmosphere. But right now, above Earth's surface, we have evidence of winds of 140 miles an hour. That would put Rotunda just to the west of the Placida area and to the west and southwest of Cape Hayes. If you are in Charlotte County, now is the time to be in the absolute safest part of your house, lowest level of your home, most interior section of your and through windows.
What, your TV
Treat
went
this
out?
As if there was a big tornado
I didn't turn
right
it
over
back
top
on.
of your house. Unfortunately, this moves
Oh.
slower than a tornado, but as you're noticing here, based on the evidence we're seeing
You
from
wanna
the wind
pull up the
speeds,
chair?
this is just as strong, if
Hang
not
out.
stronger, than the tornadoes that we oftentimes
Twin.
see.
Yeah,
Front is gone too.
Screen in the front went, in the front yard, in the front screen.
Go ahead.
Got my radar. Let's first go to Naples. We have cars starting to get flooded in the region. Here's just a quick update before we go to that video. Here it is. Okay, so this is in Naples. The water is coming up substantially in Naples, and you guys are first to get the storm surge. But guess what?
Just heard
The
something
threat is
go
not
bang
over.
out
This
there.
will continue.
Did you hear it?
And until we get
Something
those
went bang.
winds to turn, not on shore. They continue to be out of the south, and even though we're not seeing that strong southerly wind, you're not seeing the winds as they are into Charlotte County. We're seeing the winds stay on shore and pushing that water in. I do want to show you this 1 o'clock advisory, and just a couple of things to note from it. If we could pull out to camera 5 here at our big screen. The 1 o'clock advisory keeps it moving off to the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. That's somewhat of a piece of good news we can get because it's still moving. That were to slow down even more, I would grow more concerned, and more as I already am, with the amount of water that we're seeing push on in. This was with the angle of attack that this storm was having in our region and the shape of our coastlines. I mentioned it last night that this could end up being a worst-case scenario. Moving to do that. Notice how big that is. It's 34 miles wide, and this will take hours to continue.
there goes another bang.
To the input and east. So I do want to kind of show you where we're starting to see that heavy rain push on in.
Yeah,
This
there it
will
is.
also be
We're
associated
at-
with those wind gusts we've been tracking, 110 miles per hour, especially into this northeastern part of the storm. Even more high wind gusts.
So
just
far,
offshore.
damage is a couple screens.
That's just a sign of how strong
One on
the
our
storm is with its
back one eye and one on our back, on our front one eye.
So parts of
So-
Island Island, starting to get some lighter rain. You will have a little bit of a break in the heavy rain and the gusty winds for parts of Pine Island and also for North Captiva and Captiva as that eye starts to move on in. That's where you're beginning to be halfway done when we still have the back of the storm to go through and we still have even more storm surge to come on the little. So moving along Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, we're getting a lot of video in from areas in Cape Coral where the water levels continue to rise. So into Miracle Parkway, anywhere south of Cape Coral Parkway, still some light rain pushing on in. The heaviest rain might be just to the north of you, but you will see that water push on in. I can't stress that enough in parts of Cape Coral. It's probably too late to leave. We need to think about how to keep you and your family safe over the next few hours as that southerly wind just kind of catches up into Cape Coral. The Sanibel Causeway has nowhere else to go but into Cape Coral or up the storm is moving through places like Northport, Birdstone Marina, Arcade Pace Peninsula area that are just see the heaviest winds from the front edge of the eye right now. This is a prolonged event, and like we mentioned, we
Hey,
were saying
guys.
earlier this week.
Who's still in here?
From the storms,
Give me a
strong
one if
winds,
you're still in here.
tornadoes, the high
Make sure my
rainfall.
chat is still
Then,
working.
As we head through today, that rainfall will start to
Anyone in
go
here,
away.
give me a one.
Winds will turn behind the storm.
Let me know my
Continue
chat
to
is
see
still
these
working.
waters come up. So the fact that the waters are already as high as they are, it's not moving well for the future. Farther to the south, in
Thanks,
case of
Tiff.
these, it's going to be as
All right,
strong
take
as
a
well.
walk. Take a look at the front yard here.
Parts of Cape Coral
For a minute.
right now, but I do want to put a storm trap on places like Gates, Buckingham, into Estero Base, Palos Park, into Island Park. Are these winds going to start to move into your region? If you're just still having 50, 60 mile per hour winds, then I'm saying that.
Let's take a walk over
That's
the
what we're at. We're
front
saying
door.
Just 50 to 60
Take a look at the
because
front
of how
yard.
powerful this storm is. Winds will pick up within the next 15 to 20 minutes for parts of Gateway, San Carlos Park, about 130.
Can't really go to outside. It's really worse out here. This is my front yard. Couple branches down from this pine tree. It's in my front yard. Some branches down here. Front screen ripped out a little. Yeah, the wind is blowing towards me here, so that's a definite. I can feel, yeah, I'm still in the doorway feeling that wind. So, this is a look of the storm from the north side of my house. Coming in. So, screens are starting to rip. Pretty strong out there. I think next year I'll try to get better prepared. So this is the second time this has happened. Charlie did the same thing to us guys. It was supposed to go further north and then took a turn and went over us.
In those regions.
I should have learned my lesson then.
And over to Chief
But,
Meteorologist John Patrick in the ABC7 studio. What are we tracking there?
And then
We have.
this one's making me learn my lesson. I'm going to start getting that. Have my windows covered and stuff like that for the next one.
First and foremost, show you what we have.
I do have a generator. I have a couple of them. Neither one of them are working.
These are what we have tracked so far.
So I purchased another one. I won't get that for a couple days.
At the Naples Grand Beach Resort. That location.
Yeah, those, yeah, look at this screen here. Boom, that one too. That one happened. This is my backyard.
As far as the wind, certainly a reality that the Naples Grand Beach Resort. We've had
Still wondering about the
surge flooding there. I'll show you a camera from that area in just a second. Mariner High School in the Cape. 110 miles per hour. That happened at 12:44. A little earlier at the Yacht Club, Santa Harbor Yacht Club.
that screen came in.
Causeway there, 99 mile an hour winds at Kalia Bay, 6 miles per hour. We continue.
A little worried about
Naples Grand because
the
this
trampoline there, but that thing, I bought that, we bought that for my granddaughter 4 or 5 years ago, and she's used it twice. I want to get rid of it. And there's no point in it in my backyard if I'm not going to see my grandkids.
In Punta Gorda. It is picking up air.
But it sat there so long, I went out and looked at it yesterday, that the feet are even all buried down in the ground. It's been sitting there all that long, so
Port Charlotte. So we are going to lose the
hopefully.
internet. We're going to lose power to our camera, so we may get these images from time to time like that one.
Hello Amy, how you doing darling? Good to see you.
Normally it would be Kalia Bay, because normally the opposite would be we want to be coming out there.
So my power went off and back on and off and back on again just
So
now.
that's what's going over the Naples Grand Beach Resort, and that's what's going over Fort Myers Beach and Santa
Amy, it's
Fe
good
and
to see you,
Captiva.
darling.
It's that water being forced from the Gulf of Mexico up over the beaches and onto land.
Again, I had to reconnect, so I want to make sure. Give me a one if we're still connected, guys, and if you can still hear me.
That's over 100,000 people without power, according to this
And
product.
make sure my chat is still on.
There in Charlotte County, that's right around 5 to 10,000. We're going to see this number likely continue to go up as we go through the event and more people lose wind. And we've been talking about what the wind is, what is forecast as we get through the rest of the afternoon. 87 miles per hour this afternoon, so we have some hurricane force winds. And again, this is our forecast model predicting what the winds
So-
for the afternoon and evening. But 87 out here, hurricane force wind. Don't necessarily pay attention to the exact number, but it's
Yeah.
relatively.
You gonna watch some videos, some non-cop watching videos? Yeah, I hear that. Sometimes you just wanna not.
That's
how I've been feeling a lot lately.
Hurricane force winds are pounding the beaches of Lincoln. We're starting to go up to Charlotte Harbor, and that's what's research event for Harbor right now. The east, Peace River and the Miami River. That's going to change.
Power's
after the
gonna be
center of the storm
flashing in and
passes
out,
by,
guys,
And the water is
so-
going to be driven in this direction from the Gulf of Mexico. Well, right now it's got opposite because of that easterly wind. That hurricane wind does start to let up as we get into 5, 6, and 7